One of them.
Innovate,
One.
innovate, innovate.
Gentlemen.
That was your best read of the entire so far.
It was very good, though. I'm sorry that we cut you off. So I just want you to know that.
You're looking down right now. It was pretty dense. I thought I was doing really good. That was fucking channeling Patrick Stewart and shit. See the quality drop off when we stopped editing.
Yeah. I'm just looking happy for the camera. I hate all of you so much on this fucking lighting.
It's like cooking up a big old pot of gumbo. Boy, howdy.
All right. Ready when you are. And through that whole thing, and you had to swear in the last 2 sentences, Bill.
Wow. That was really a great analogy, Bill.
Oh. I like that.
The treasure is so not the right analogy. Get it together, Bill. Hate this.
I know what's getting cut first. And that's how we approach challenges here at Lucid. Now let's shift gears and discuss something I believe is crucial in our projects: early stakeholder engagement. Marie, you're deeply involved in the process with a focus on the IS-88 batch. How important is early engagement in your work?
Oh, I mean, absolutely critical. And it's not just about keeping people informed for like covering your butt later. It's about pushing planning as an activity to the top of everyone's to-do list and making it a priority, because deliverables aren't for months out. Everyone has immediate fires that they're dealing with. So it's really easy to ignore the all the planning activities with all of the day-to-day crap that you're worried about. So the real work is getting them into a rhythm where they're thinking about planning. This is on their radar. They know about it, and then eventual buy-in is priceless. It's not my plan. It's our plan. Buy-in works, and especially given the complexity of what we deal with.
Yeah. And I mean, we're getting parties involved early, like IT, for instance. We got to engage them early on. You just have to if anything's going to work. But also, just as important, and something that we kind of leaned with here, is getting QA involved on the ground floor. Working with them to make sure that we're meeting their standards, that they really know what they're in for. We're all on the same page. It's really like a cheat code for success later on, which is typically when we do rope in QA. But at that point, if you get them on early in, they know what they're in for. So we're designing with an eye for success. We're designing with an eye for easy validation and compliance anyway. But get them on board, get them rolling with it, good to go.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's not quite like pre-approval yet. It's co-writing the validation plan with QA for an entire cell line. That it's confidence building. They see that we are thinking about them. They get their input in early. You haven't written any acceptance tests yet, but you're in such a great position for when later down the road, when inevitably the automation schedule gets compressed, because that's how projects work, you're able to keep it going. And even with equipment changes and forced plan changes, when you have QA on board from the beginning, it's a lot easier to have those conversations and then get that pre-approval when it's time.
Yeah, early and consistent engagement really did save a lot of time on the back end. There's so many trades on site during construction. You really have to be there on site. The guy that wrote the subcontract based on the preliminary drawings is not going to be the one that actually does the work. So you have the different trades like the BMS, the electricians, the telecom, the pneumatic teams, all the same. The one that spec'd it is going to end up telling the supervisor what to do, and then the supervisor ends up telling the guy from the hall what he's actually going to put in there. At each stage, you got to make sure there's somebody there that can make the clarifications right away, that so they don't have to go back, or most likely what they'll do is they'll just push ahead and do it wrong. Having somebody there to do it right the first time and making sure that all these pieces that have to fit together really work. And some of the work we do is specialized enough where it shouldn't fall on the GC to do that fine detailed work, but we can really rep the client when we do it there.
Yeah.
Just being there, I think, saved weeks of delays and rework. It's a grind, but the guys we worked with were really pros and patient listening to our concerns, and really good at filtering out the jargon that we end up providing to them and getting the job done.
Yeah, it's, automation, there's always that element of project management in there where like you're making sure that you're like the conductor of an orchestra, right? You're making sure that every musician with all their unique parts and everything all come together and do it correctly. And then it sounds good and you've got a great facility. As engineers, we have to ensure that everyone's contributions really harmonize with the project goals. And it's challenging, but also that, it's rewarding. That's the job, especially when we get to see all the different parts come together and create a whole facility.
Yeah, it's definitely a good point. And I often got to remind myself, it's not just about the technical side and getting the machines talking and working. It's about building this team where everybody's on the same page. We got and then there's individual teams, individual tribes in between the teams, and they all got their individual goals. So bringing them together, get them aligned, and in this instance, that result was great.
Well, that really is what sets us apart. We're not just ticking boxes and meeting deadlines. It's about creating an environment where work is really efficient and compliant. And yes, fun. It's about getting the job done and enjoying the journey.
Absolutely. And it's this approach to like early stakeholder engagement that really cements our strategy. And it's not just a step in the process, it's the foundation. It's what we keep coming back to. We don't just, like you said, we don't just do it to tick boxes.
Oh man, and who doesn't love a project that just flows smoothly from the word go?
Exactly. Lucid, where innovation synergizes to meet with collaboration and fun. We should write shit down. Next, we should dive into the intricacies of equipment selection and vendor relations. Until then, keep innovating. This has been a production of Lucid Automation. The opinions expressed are those of the individuals and do not represent those of Lucid Automation. Upon further consideration, those opinions would likely be retracted by the individuals that made them. All opinions are to be considered for entertainment purposes only and should, under no circumstances, be considered professional engineering advice. Please contact Lucid Automation directly at http://lucidautomationsecurity.com for official advice.